What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris coming at you for another Dueling Bros video, and today I'm going to be ranking every single color combination in Lorcana to help you guys figure out what you want to play at your local Lorcana Inklands Championship. And if you like that idea and you like the video, hit that like button down below. It would really help me out a lot. And if you don't want to miss any more Lorcana content coming out of the Dueling Brothers channel, hit that subscribe button. Now let's get on to the video. So after the tier list is finished, also I'm going to be doing a deck breakdown on each of the decks that I think are in the top 4 of the meta right now. But yeah, other than that, let's just get into what I feel is the ranking of the meta and with all the color combinations. Of course, if you want to be the best player you can be, you will hit that subscribe button to the Dueling Brothers channel so that you don't miss any Dueling Brothers content. Okay, with that being said, also, this is a template that's on the Tier Maker website, and I will have that link down below in the video. I will be deleting the subscribe column so that you guys can use it effectively without having that column there. But yeah, so first up on this, now I did not, this is all random, I did not really choose the colors in order of what to talk about. Let's go with green purple. So green purple, let's go with B, the bounce deck. Okay, so the reason I'm putting it in B is with it being paired green and purple, there's no real removal, but there is a lot of bounce, so it's kind of pseudo removal, and you can go quite fast to 20 with it, but it also does require you to draw certain combo pieces for it to really pop off. So I wouldn't necessarily put in A because it does lose some consistency there, but overall I think it is a good deck, and I think B is a good place for it. And now we're going to go to the Christmas deck. So Christmas deck, I think green red, we're going to go at a solid C tier, okay? You would think that, red on its own is really great. Green on its own is very great. You think you mash them together, you think they would work phenomenally, but really it's just, it's about average, to be honest. I think just with other color combos, just cards meshing a little bit better, I think that creates a gap for this deck because it does have the potential for a lot of good color combos, but they don't just match up as well as you would hope. And I haven't really seen this deck be popular or pop off at a big tournament, so I think I would put it in the C category. Although that being said, there are some people who could be cooking up something interesting that could be going on with any of these color combinations. So don't sleep on any color combo just because I have them in the C or D or B rank. That doesn't mean that you can't get caught off guard and lose to any color combination. So I just also want to go off and saying that even though I would put this in C tier, it does have red in there. So be prepared is there. There's always something with every color combo that could turn the tide, and so you always have to watch your P's and Q's. With that being said, now let's get into Amber Red. Okay, Amber Red, I feel like is very, very solid B tier. Okay, and above Green Purple because it has the removal of red. Okay, where there is no real removal in Green Purple, and then with Rockstar Stitch and all these sorts of different builds coming out with Amber Red, Mufasa. It's really developing quite nicely, and it matches up against other red decks because Mufasa, you be prepared, and Mufasa just brings out another character more than likely. So things just really work out in your favor when it comes to that. But also, I feel like it falls short because there's a little bit of randomness with that Mufasa going on. You have to draw the Mufasa. I personally haven't played a lot of this, but I played against it a good amount, like a fair amount, not too much, but I would say that it definitely has its deadly components, and it would be in the B tier. And honestly, I would be on the lookout maybe next set for that to potentially rise up because that Mufasa archetype is just very, very interesting, and I think it's really gonna be crazy to see how it can be built upon. Now let's go on to red purple. So red purple is old reliable, right? Most people have played against red purple or played with red purple. It is what it is. It has been around since set one, and it is just. I mean, I guess all these color combos have been around since set one, but it has been in the top of the metagame since set one, and in set two it was just overwhelmingly dominant, and set 3, it is still very good and very popular. So, with that being said, it goes in the A tier, not S tier, because I don't think it will outright win many Lorcana championships. I think it'll make a lot of top 8. I think if you were to ask me personally, Chris, what will be the most, the highest percentage of decks that make top 8, probably red purple will be that, because it is just how popular it is, and it still is a good deck. But with that being said, it is also a highly targeted deck, so a lot of people will aim their decks to specifically be able to beat that, and then be able to beat other things secondary. So just be on the lookout for that. But red purple is still a very very good deck, and I definitely think that A tier is where it should belong. So now we get into lemon lime. Okay, so lemon lime I put above green red just because, like I was saying, the synergy of green red. It's a little like red is a little slow, and lemon lime is very fast. Lemon lime discard aggro is very very fast. Where it lacks is having no removal, and it is not fast enough for not having enough removal. With steel being so prevalent in the meta right now, a good grab your swords would just stop the momentum of this deck completely and allow your opponent to completely overtake you. So, although this deck is very good, and until there are some answers to help get around steel in either amber or green, then it's just going to be in C tier. You can pop off and go and beat it sometimes. More than likely, you're not. They're going to get a grab your swords and they're going to wreck you. So that is what it is on that. Okay, and then right above that we have amber purple is almost the same thing. How ironic that they ended up being right next to each other. Another super super fast deck. It will get to 20 even faster than the lemon lime deck, but there's just no discard portion of it. But again, a good grab your swords will just take you out. Okay, now there are some instances where amber purple will just get like the god hand, and unless you have the perfect amount of removal to match what they're playing, you are going to lose on turn 4 or turn 5. It is what it is. But with the prevalence of steel, with Robin Hood being able to be shifted on turn 3, or on the amber steel you can shift for turn 4 on a grab your swords or something like that. The lemon lime and amber purple decks with having no real removal, in either of them, and no removal at all in amber purple, and just and lemon lime is discard and then bounce if you want to do that route. So there's no real removal on either of those, and that way they land solid in C tier. But we'll see where they land in set 4. Now, green steel is very very good. Although I'm gonna put it in A tier. Okay, now I think it beats red purple, right? But the reason why it's not gonna land as high as red purple, even though it's an A tier, is because of the difficulty to play. Playing discard requires you to have a high knowledge of what your opponent is playing, meaning you have to be able to do some quick critical thinking as your opponent is inking. You process, and then they play, and you process, and then you have to formulate your game plan very fast and go from there. On Pixelborn, there's a bit of, like an edge. You get to know your opponent's color combo before you start playing. That doesn't always happen. A lot of people don't like to reveal their color combination in a color before you play them in like a really competitive tournament. And for good right, because if you're going against aggro, you're going to keep things that you wouldn't keep if you were otherwise you knew you were going against mid control. So that really really matters. So do not don't take that out of the equation. So just knowing what your opponent plays is really, really important in knowing how to build your discard game plan. But it is a very, very strong deck, even though it is somewhat difficult to play. So it hits the A tier because it is just so strong once you figure it out. Now we got uh, Steel Red, and I have that one in the C tier as well. Okay, so it has removal, it has steel, right? So you would think that all right, it would mesh up beautifully because steel and red are the main two removal units, and that pirate deck is really fun. Um, the pirate deck, it just this color combo it didn't really match up to what I was hoping for, and it's kind of similar to the green red, but just better. Like it meshes a little better, but it fits in the same category as, although they're two great on their own, like two good bases for other decks to or other color combinations to mesh with. Red mixing with steel and red mixing with green just doesn't really seem to be the best options at the moment. And yeah, it is what it is. The pirate deck, it is fun. It can pop off. Like you get a good John Silver with some locations going early. It's really good, but you really have to pop that combination off. And if you don't you get that, then you're kind of screwed. And on top of that, outright removal, like red, just gets rid of your John Silvers with resist. So it kind of creates a conundrum. So I'm just gonna put it at a solid C tier. They're probably gonna come out with some more pirates and captains and whatnot in set 4, and I'm sure we'll see a really good shakeup in the meta. But let's see what we got. We got steel, purple, and this one is easy, high B tier. Okay, it is just like green steel, but it has draw instead of discard, and that's good and all. The issue is it's more of you can't really stop your opponent too much, right? Like green steel is really good because you have the damage with steel, right? But then you have the discard with green, and that's just very deadly because you have removal in two places, in the hand and then on the field as well. So you can just hit that double whammy. But with steel purple, it's more of like you draw and then you have damage removal, which is good. But if like if you're going to get discard, if your blue fairy gets taken out by swords, just like Bucky gets taken out by swords. So if they make you discard and they hit you with their swords, before you can get to really drawn, that could be really detrimental to you. And you're a little bit, purple wants to get a little bit more ink to get going, really, really heavy. And then, if you do get to that point, the thing is, the purple deck the steel purple will really take over. But without that, there's it just kind of loses out to discard. And then of course you got like the Jafar combo, the whole new world that's very, very good. But you have to hit the whole new world. It's like the consistency there is kind of yeah. But then also you have aggro purple steel, which is very, very good. But it just I just feel like there's something missing from purple steel aggro, and I think that might be the dark horse. If you were to say, Chris, what is the dark horse of the tournament? What do you think could potentially catch people off guard and win? And it would be purple steel aggro because I know there's something there. Whether it's is ready to get first place in set 3, I don't know, but I can tell you that it's almost there. And purple, the purple steel archetype is very, very good because it could, the flexibleness of it. I would almost even move it to A, but like I said, I just feel like it has less removal and it's not quite as fast as the another deck that we're gonna put in A, and so I think it fits B tier just fine. And speak of the devil, we have Amber Steel, okay, and Amber Steel is gonna go in A tier, in between green steel and red purple. Now again, Amber Steel is another color combination that I think can beat red purple. However, I think it is less favorable than green steel, but more popular than green steel. And I think you can beat, um, red purple with amber steel. Some variations I think have an easier time than others with amber steel. But overall, no matter what variation you're playing of amber steel, I think you can overcome the red purple deck. But at the end of the day, just the popularity of red purple and it just still being so good. That's why, like I'm saying, and, I'm leaving it at that number one spot A, just because you're going to be seeing it so often. But Amber Steel is a very, very good deck. It has draw power, it has removal, it has ramp. You can go wide very fast, and it is a very, very good deck. It is another deck that has been very consistent, topping the meta, right along with red purple since set one. And I think with just how much the meta has shifted in the past couple of weeks, with like Rapunzel being good again, and just people just really figuring out Amber Steel, flute decks are really, really popular, and then people are starting to figure out non-flute versions that are able to overcome our S tier deck that we're going to get into. I just really think that Amber Steel is an A tier deck. So now we get into blue red, and blue red is the S tier deck. It is what it is. It has draw, it has removal. You get to egg faster to get to your removal faster, or to get to questing faster, to laying down more items. I mean, it's just the deck is really good. It is consistent. It is one of the harder decks to play 100%, because control decks are just naturally harder to play, but it is so good. Okay, and in the hands of a very good control player, blue red is a nightmare. It doesn't matter what deck you're using, they have a chance of winning. Okay, and ironically, if you were like, Chris, what is the deck to choose? If you were like, I know I'm going against blue red, and I'm going to be facing it all day, no questions asked, like 5 rounds in a row, all blue red. What should I play? It's going to be actually amber purple, because they're trying to ink so fast. They're going to put a lot of like their removal cards in the back end, and so you have bare necessities and friends to help draw, to bare necessities to get rid of their fishbone quill, to slow down their inking just slow enough to where you can get to 20 fast enough, and then you have friends to draw, so you can make sure you get your big questers like Pinocchio, and get your Queen of Hearts, your Madam Mim, stuff like that in there. It's a really good into this deck, but unfortunately, with steel being it's still being so popular. Amber purple just it falls in C tier. But if steel wasn't so good, because blue red has such a huge weakness in the amber purple, I would put amber purple higher. But um, that is why amber purple is in C tier. But it is really good against blue red. But blue red, besides that color combination, I would say it is really good in anything else. It outdraws discard. I mean, discard can win, but like I said, the deck is an S. Blue red is in S tier, because yeah, no matter what game plan you have, if you don't interfere with blue red's game plan, they're going to win. You either have to win before they can reach like the 7 ink mark, the 6-7 ink mark, or you have to interfere their game plan so that they can't get there, or whatever it may be. But if you just let them ink away and get to 6 and 7 on like turn 4, 5, or turn 5, 4, it is so hard to stop them. And really good players are going to be really good at being able to get those combos going with the higher end, the popsicles and the bells and the fishbone quills and all that, to make sure that they get to their removal and start removing your cards as fast as possible. So blue red is just very, very good right now, and it's going to be S tier in my book. So now we got blue purple. I think it's D tier. It's okay. It has a little bit of removal with blue. and it has Elsa, it has has a lot of bouncy stuff. But overall, I'm just gonna put it in D tier. It just feels too slow. Um, I think it can be good, and I think it's a lot of fun to play. I think it's a lot of fun to play, and I think there's something there, but I just don't think it's quite there yet. And much like I think Steel Red and Green Red are almost there. I think with this next set, I think potentially this deck may be able to rise to like a B or A tier, depending on what cards they come up with. Um, Honestly, Amber Blue is probably what I view the weakest deck in the set. Now I could be wrong because you get your lanterns out with and then you get your Tamatoa with your Lucky Dime, but you can't reduce the Lucky Dime's cost. So even if you get your Tamatoa out super early, it's not going to do you any good because you can't. You still got to get the 7 ink to get that Lucky Dime, and then you got other characters to reduce item costs, but they don't tend to stick on the board fast long enough to actually make a difference when you need them. So although there's a lot of good concepts with Amber Blue, like an item deck type deal, I just think it doesn't have any good removal, almost none really, because I don't really consider blue Let It Go like removal because Hades is good because it's at 7 ink already, so you're late in the game enough to where if you give your opponent another ink, they either don't have a hand to really utilize it, or they've already inked enough themselves to where it doesn't matter. But Let It Go is just, if you give them that ink so early, I mean, instead of playing like a 6 cost, you get to play like a 7 cost, or instead of playing like a 5 cost, you play a 6 cost. I mean, it really getting an ink before your opponent, like either whether you're going second and you get that ink, or you went first and you get extra ink above your opponent. It's either scenario. I really don't like it, so I'm not a fan of Let It Go at all because of that. Uh, but it is one of if I'm going to be honest, I do always try to brew an amber blue deck at the beginning of every set because I really like Tamatoa. Um, so I am glad that Tamatoa is getting shine in blue red because when I was testing amber blue at the beginning of set 3, I was just really disappointed. But yeah, so now we got steel blue, and this is easily, in my opinion, going to be the B tier, the top of the B tier, because of Lucky Dime, Tamatoa, Hiram, Whole New World. The amount of draw you have, it's really hard to to for the discard package to really. Uh, you have to have like a really good like early game to hit them. They have a lot of draw, just like blue red, and on top of that, they have Whole New World to reset their hand with a good shift if needed. So yeah, there's a lot of potential there, but it is a bit slower. So if your opponent decides to go a little bit more of the aggro quest route, you could potentially lose, and that is where like green steel and amber steel can really get in on that because they can shift really quickly and just start questing away really good. So that's why I think I have them in A over the blue steel, but blue steel is very good. It's just slightly too slow. You can ink a lot, sure, and then you get to that bell with the Tamatoa. But if you're gonna try to do all that, you might as well throw some red on top of there instead of steel because yeah, it just works a lot better. You have outright removal and you have so much draw. A lot of the times, Holding World isn't necessarily needed. To be honest, so you don't necessarily want to give your opponent a whole new hand. Although if you're inking a lot more, it's a whole new deck, but it's good, but I just don't think that it matches up with like amber purple, amber steel, amber purple. What did I say? I said amber purple. I mean ruby purple, amber steel, green steel, and blue red. So I think blue steel is a good B tier. Um, I wouldn't put it in A. I just think it's too slow, just slightly too slow. Because red, I think blue red and red purple would just overtake it. And then we have the green blue. Okay, I'm gonna put that in D tier. So it's just I think the best version of that deck is probably items. And again, it's just there's not really a lot of removal, and that's the one thing that helps. Like the Lucky Dime item package with Hiram with red is the removal, and when you take that away, it really exploits a lot of weaknesses that blue has. And with not really having any good removal, and the removal you do have giving your opponent ink, which really just helps them out a lot. So I think green and blue just wind up in the D tier, but similar to green red and steel red, and in the fact that I think that um, with either maybe a couple of items or cards that support the items, whether it be more items that lose in lore, like Radigan's Trap or something like that, I think you can really start to make that package look good. But we'll see. And that's that, guys. That is every single color combination, right? We got blue, red, we got amber, red. I mean, good lord. Uh, we got purple, red, and we have amber steel, and we have green steel as our top four. So I'll get into those four deck breakdowns. But otherwise, I will post this screenshot to the Dueling Brothers Instagram page if you want to take a look at it again. But yeah, so this is my ranking, and this was a lot of fun. Probably rambled on a little bit. I was a little bit nervous in doing this. This is the first time I've ever done a video like these. And again, this is my personal opinion. So a lot of these decks I think can still win. It's just they may not just be quite as good as other decks, but a lot of these decks can still pop off, even though they may not be as good or as consistent as some of the other decks on the list. But yeah, let's get into the deck breakdowns of the top four decks on this list. Okay, everybody, so these four deck breakdowns in this video are going to be somewhat quick because I plan on doing full deep dive deck breakdowns similar to what I've already done with this green steel discard before. I will do another one on green steel discard, no big deal because I've made some changes since then, so I think it does deserve another video. It is okay. What are those changes, Chris? Those changes are adding Curse Merfolk back in, dropping down one Zeus, and taking out both of the Strength of the Raging Fires that I had in temporarily, because I just felt like I had too many damaging songs when I didn't really need them, and also I got a comment that was feeling the same sentiment, so that kind of just cemented in my brain that that was the right move to make, because also some matchups I feel like I was doing a lot better in with Cursed Merfolk in. I was doing not as good now. So I think that'll fix that back in because Quest for Two, it's another one drop that can be played alongside Robin Hood, and it also creates that discard pressure early. Because before without the Cursed Merfolk, if you didn't really have Robin Hood, the deck can feel somewhat like slow and predictable, right? I don't like the Prince John, and I like where the deck is with Bucky. Prince John is perfectly fine, I think, but he has the same weakness as Grab Your Swords as Bucky does, and so I'd rather just play Bucky. I really like how this deck flows. You get the morph to shift onto really anything you want to. You got like 20 Floodborns, so that's a lot of cards to proc the discard with the Floodborn Bucky combo. We got the 2-drop Ursula to look at your opponent's hand, discard a song. We got the 3-drop Ursula to sing songs twice. Very deadly, let the storm rage on, sudden chill. And then we got Benja to get some item removal going. We got the Jafar to draw and to discard both. Draw from banishing a character during your turn with him, and then discarding from the Floodborn combo with Bucky. Then we got Helga. She can just add 3 damage by questing and questing for 2, attacking for 4, having 4 health. She's out of range for that Medusa, so that's really nice. And she's a Floodborn, just very good. The Beast, the Sad Beast, is to really just help you draw over your opponent after you've made them discard, because there's not a lot of draw options in this color combination, so you really have to utilize your draw opportunities when you can. Then you got the shiftable Robin Hood, just very good. You can draw when he gets banished in a challenge. You gain 2 lore whenever you banish a character with him in a challenge during your turn. Just very, very good. He has 6 health So just very, very good. Just avoids that Zeus as well, but does get hit by Madame Medusa. Then we got the 6-drop Robin Hood, 4 attack, 5 health, quest for 4. That's just there, just straight quest for 4. Very, very good. Game closer gets avoided by Medusa as well. I know a lot of people who have just cut Elsa. I mean, not Elsa. What you call it, Lady Tremaine altogether. I don't even know why I said Elsa. They're not even close. They cut Lady Tremaine all the way together and just put in 4 Madame Medusas. They're kind of silly because, yeah, you want to be able to get rid of that Robin Hood. But yeah, I really like Lady Tremaine. But, that's a different deck. I really like this Robin Hood also. This Robin Hood is really, really good. So the other 6-drop we have in here is the Tinkerbell. She's just really good. You morph onto a Tinkerbell if you're going against aggro, and then you just sing that grab your swords. Completely shut your opponent down, no matter if they have 3 health characters that would maybe be slightly out of range for your grab your swords. You play that Tinker Shift with the Tinkerbell and sing grab your swords. They're out of there. Complete shift. Then you got the Cinderella. She's so good at stopping your opponent from questing, like Helga. She quests for 3, resists 2, so she just really she hammers home, some victories, and also she's very, very good in the mirror in steel mirrors. So you just really want to play that Cinderella if you can in the steel mirrors. We got Sudden Chill to discard, sing it twice with the 3-drop Ursula and your golden sing. Let the storm rage on and your golden. That's 2 damage. Could be 4 damage with Ursula. Draw 1 card or draw 2 cards with singing with Ursula. Very, very good card in the deck. 3 Zeuses because we have Helga. So Helga paired with Storm and Sword creates kind of a Zeus. So we went down with 1 Zeus because you want to have the maximum singable songs you can for Ursula. And then we have 3 Swords because going 4 you just draw them too much, but Swords is just too good. You're somewhat board clear and is just too good to not have in the deck. So that is this green steel quick deck breakdown or explanation. Really, it's very, very good. Like I said, you got 20 Floodborn characters to discard with the Bucky, and now it's a little bit more even across the board with adding Kirsten Merfolk back in, so it should be a little easier to choose your mulligans and get your packages in with the mulligans now, because just everything should flow now that the Kirsten Merfolk is back in there, having 7 1-drops rather than just having 4 1-drops. It really does make a big difference. Like I said, I'll be doing a deep dive deck breakdown again later on this week, but let's get into the next deck breakdown. Alright, so Amber Steel. This is the test deck that I tried the other day. I just switched it up a little bit, and I think this is the one that I would choose if I were to go into a tournament. Now, if you like the flutes, there are plenty of good flutes lists out there. I'm not a flute player, so that is what it is there. I just don't like that play style. I think it's good. You can win with it. I don't, it's just not my play style. And that's that. But so this is called Surfing the Meta. Before you get to count the cards and before you go put this deck together or whatever, it is 63 cards. So I don't want you to go count 63 and think you're a crazy person. It is 63 cards. Essentially what I did from the list on the test that I did the other day was I went from 4 Whole New Worlds to 3, and I put in 4 aerials. And that's because I felt like I was seeing Whole New World way too often, and I was being able to, I had so much draw with Rapunzel, Surfer Stitch, Storm, and Beast. And Robin Hood. I didn't really feel like I needed to Whole New World all that often. I felt like the Whole New World is like a last resort, and oftentimes my opponents were wanting me to play Whole New World, and so that's just not. You don't want to play into your. You don't want your opponent to be able to create a situation where they force you to play a Whole New World and it be favorable for them. When you Whole New World, you always want it to be favorable for you. So I think just having the 3 Surfer Stitches on the back end really helps you create that opportunities of not having to play that Whole New World if you top deck a Surfer Stitch, instead of top decking a Whole New World. And on top of that, with having Whole New World in the deck, having 63 cards instead of 60, you can safely Whole New World, knowing that you're probably not going to deck out before your opponent. Those 3 cards will matter. That being said, let's get into it. You got the 4 baby Cindy, Sustaining Storm, or Bare Necessity, or Strength of the Raging Fire. Just very, very good. You can rip an item out of your opponent's hand. You can, rip a song. You can do whatever you want. You can destroy a 1-drop. Most 1-drops only have 2 health. There are some that have 3, but most only have 2. And let the Storm Rage on will let you take care of that. And Strength of the Raging Fire will also allow you to take care of that if you play another 1-drop on turn 2. Just very, very good all the way around. That Cinderella is just so good. You got the Queen. The Queen is really good. The Queen combo, you shift for 2 on turn 2. She can sing a 5 song if you want a whole new world on turn 2. You can do that. Zeus on turn 2, you can do that. There's a lot of different combos you can do with the Queen being in there. Especially if you go like ink dry and you're getting really bad draws, you could just shift for the Queen and get a whole new hand with that whole new world real quick and get yourself out of a tight situation. Or maybe you need to shift. It's a 2-drop shift for a 5 is very, very good. I could talk a long time about that. We'll save that for the next video. The Robin Hood combo, it's just so good. We talked about in the last deck breakdown a second ago. Quest for 2, attacks for 3. If it gets banished in a challenge, you draw 1. If you banish a character during your turn in a challenge, you gain 2 lore. It's just so good. Ariel, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck. If they're a song, you put one. If one's a song, you put one in your hand. You put the rest in any order at the bottom of your deck. She's just so good for fishing out your songs and just really being able to help control the board and just fishing out your songs. That's what she's done. That's what she's there for, is fishing out your songs, and she's really good at it. So she's in the deck. We have a lot of songs, so she's fits perfect in the deck. 3 Benja, to get rid of those flutes in the mirror, get rid of the popsicles, we're not really popsicles, get rid of the fishbone quill, the Mally's fish hook, any items that are going to plague you want to get rid of, or help your opponent you would like to get rid of. Then we got the Rapunzel. You remove up to 3 damage on chosen character. Draw 1 card for each damage removed. And yeah, she's really good. 1 attack, 5 health. She is didn't see a lot of play in set 2, but coming back in set 3 strong. And I really, really like that because I love me some Rapunzel. She's a really good card. And then we already talked about the 5-drop Queen. We got the Beast. Beast is so good, just like the Robin Hood. You get that draw, quest for 2. If he does have a damage on him, he attacks for 7. So it's just so good during your turn at least. So that is the downside. But yeah, the Beast is just really, really good, and I just wouldn't see him not being in the deck at 4 of. He's just too good. Unless you just don't have 4 of them. And then we already covered the 5-drop Robin Hood. We got 6-drop Tinkerbell. She's there to help with aggro. You playing the lanterns, you can get her out a couple of turns early, or a turn earlier too, and that's really, really strong. And yeah, she's just good at being able to put 1 damage across the board, and then maybe you already have another 5-drop out there. You sing Grab Your Swords with them. That's 3 damage across the board. Just very strong. She's just really good at just with her effect of when she banishes a character during your turn, 2 damage to something else, and her effect of 1 damage to everything when she's played. She's really good at helping you keep control of the board, and she has 4 attack rather than 3, so she avoids Madame Medusa. And we have the Surfer Stitch. He made a little bit of a comeback, and helping in that draw consistency. Draw 2 cards if you have 2 or more characters on your side of the board. He quests for 2, 4 attack, just out of that Madame Medusa range again, and 8 health, so he's a big old chunky boy. And we got the Big Cindy, Big Cindy, just like we talked about. And the Green Steel, she quests for 3, 5 attack, 5 health. Whenever you sing a song, you can attack a character with her during that turn. And she sits for 5 on top of the Little Cindy. And she has resist too. She's just a beast of a card, and she's great in the Steel Mirrors, so that's why she is here. We got Bare Necessities, sing Bare Necessities, and you choose a non-character card in your opponent's hand, and it goes bye-bye. That also means, guess what? You're looking at your opponent's hand, so it's just a great card to play and have in this deck. So let the Storm Rage on, 2 damage, and you draw a card. There's no Ursula here, so you're not going to double proc it. And then we got Strength of the Raging Fire, and it is really good to be saying with that Cinderella. mid or late game, you slap that Cinderella down, and then next turn you sing with Strength of the Raging Fire, with minimal board presence put into it. So it's just really good. Just to, at any time mid to late game, you draw that. Okay, and then you got that one drop Cinderella who can just sing that for you real easy. And then along came Zeus, deals 5 damage, very good. 3 of, you don't want to draw up too much, and we have that aerial to make sure that we can get the songs we want when we need them. 3, Whole New World, as I was saying. 4, I just felt like I was seeing it too much. Grab Your Swords. 3 of, I think it's perfectly fine too. 4, you would see it way too much, I think. And then 4 Lanterns, you want to get that ramp out as fast as possible and just get ahead of your opponent. So 4 Lanterns is what I like in my deck, and what are the chances that your opponent is going to draw all of their item removal? Probably low, but they might hit a couple of your Lanterns, and that's okay, because you have answers, and you have shifty boys and girls that can deal with that. But yeah, I really like Lantern, and that's Ember Steel. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so with red purple, we got the Chernobog's Followers. There's a little bit of extra draw there. They quest for 1, and when you quest, you can potentially banish it to draw a card. So it's just there for a little extra draw help. Rafiki is there to trade up and do 3 health characters that potentially cost 2, 3, or 4, and it's just there to just help take out something that a 1-drop would be annoying if a 1-drop took out. Then we got the Madam Mim as a 3 attack, 3 health. Bounce one of those 1-drops back, you play it, and if you don't bounce anything, it gets banished. Quest for 1, really good. Then we got the 2-drop Pinocchio, not the one that quests for 3, but the one that quests for 1, and when you play it, you exert chosen opposing character. It goes well with the Madam Mim's package, so yeah, it's just really good to stop the Ursula and other things that potentially would be dangerous early game if your opponent, if you just if your opponent just had them up and you couldn't do anything about it. So, of course, Ward does get around Pinocchio's effect, but he's still really good. So I have to have him as a 2 of. We have, of course, the Fox. What you can see about the Fox, the same as the Madam Mim Snake. You bounce it, you bounce something, or you have to banish that. Main quest for 1, it has Rush. It's 4 attack and 3 health. Just a good card. We got the Crab to help deal with locations. We got the Goat, just guaranteed 2 allure if you play it. Then we got the Rabbit to draw 2 cards. Draw a card if you play it. Draw a card when it leaves the field. Just so good. We have Jim Hawkins. So if you have a Queen's Castle in hand, you play Jim Hawkins, and that's just a really devastating play right there because it's 4 lore swing, and Queen's Castle has 7 health. Jim Hawkins has 4 health, 4 attack, quest for 2, and the Queen's Castle quest for 2 at the beginning of every turn. It's just very strong, and of course, Jim Hawkins with his ability will move to the Queen Castle immediately as he gets played with it. It's just very good to go against decks that aren't good at dealing with locations. And then we have Maui. Maui's really good at helping you deal with locations or really deal with anything that's been a staple in red since set 1, and she's here to stay. And then we got Yzma. Yzma is really good for some last minute spot removal or to help you draw 2 cards and bounce something that wants to be bounced from your side of the field. Just a very good card. Quest for 2, 4 attack, and 4 health. So it's out of Mirror Meta Medusa range, and it shifts if you want to shift it. And then we have the Lady Tremaine. I really love Lady Tremaine. Quest for 2, attack 3, 4 health. And your opponent has to banish a character whenever you play Lady Tremaine. They have to choose, so it gets around Ward. So you can really do some good stuff with Lady Tremaine. The Mana Medusa is a good counter, it's like a good counterpart with a good friend, I guess. A good friend, I should say, to have with Lady Tremaine, because you get to choose a character with 3 attack or less on your opponent's side of the field to banish, and she only quests for 4, for 1. Ooh, quest for 4, that would be great. But she quests for 1, but her attack is 4 and her health is 4. So she's just an all-around good card, especially to be paired with Lady Tremaine on a turn 6 type play. So, and then we have Elsa, an 8-drop quest for 3, freeze 2 characters. They can exert at the beginning of their opponent's next turn. Just a very good late game card to just slam home a victory or help you turn the tide of battle. Attack 4. has 6 health, just a very, very good card, and can shift. So if you end up drawing both at one time, you can play one and then shift on the other, and then bounce it back, and you get both back in your hand to play. It's just very, very good. We have the 9-drop Maleficent Dragon. Very, very good card. Banish a character on your opponent's side of the field whenever you play her. Quest for 2, 7 attack, 5 health. Just very, very good. Friends on the other side, sing it for 3, draw 2 cards, just a good song. Be prepared. You got that 7-drop song, and it just gets rid of banish all characters. Just probably the most hated card in Lorcana. It is what it is. We got Mali's Fishhook, just really good at giving one of your characters evasive to help deal with the evasive character, or Challenger 3 to help deal with the location, or a bigger bodied character. And you normally have to pay 2 for its ability, but if you have Mali on the field, you don't have to pay nothing. Then Queen's Castle, the 4-drop location, probably one of the best locations, it has 7 health, quest for 2, and for every character that you have there, you get to draw a card at the beginning of your turn. It costs 4 and it costs 1 to move a character there. It's a very, very good card to play in certain scenarios. So it's not a card to just let get out of control, because it will get out of control if you don't handle it quickly. So that is red purple, and let's move on to the next one. And now we got the Mac Daddy deck, the S tier, the #1 competitive deck. Feeling lucky punk, alright? I love this deck. I told you guys weeks ago whenever I first put this deck out that I felt like it was the #1 competitive deck. That's why I put it in the title, even on the deck website, and I stand by it. I think it is a #1 competitive deck. I think this is the best tuned version, and it is, really complicated to play in a sense because it's a control deck, so you really have to be good at just utilizing the tools you have to get to your removal, and then just removing the correct characters. Sometimes your opponent can play a couple of things to trick you, and just picking the right characters to remove can really decide the game if you don't have a be prepared. It's just but no matter what deck you're going against with this deck, you can win. This deck is just so good. We have the 2-drop Gaston, to just help deal with locations and potential shifty for the other Gaston. Just a very, very good card. We have Judy Hopps for the mirror and a little bit of item removal, a Sorcerer's Spellbook. Quest for 2, 2 attack, 3 health. And then we got Belle. Belle helps you ink early like Fishbone, or she quests for 5. If you have 10 ink, you most likely will hit 10 ink. Most games I do, even before I put Belle in. And Belle is just so good. Okay, whether it be early or late game, they hit that lucky dime on that 5 quest and Belle, and it is nasty. You got Hiram for the draw power off of any of your items. We have plenty of items to go with Hiram and just keep that draw going. Okay, it is so hard to stop Hiram draw engine. Okay, and then we got Maui, with the red purple. Maui's just a staple in red. Very, very good. Help you deal with locations or any big bodied characters. And Lady Tremaine and Madame Medusa, same thing. You got to pair them together. I love these 2 ladies, okay? Then we got Gaston, quest for 3, 4 attack, 4 health. When you play him, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put 1 in your hand and the other 2 on the bottom of your deck in any order. Just very, very good card to help you make sure you get what you need from your deck. Okay, then we have Tamatoa. When you play him, you get an item from your discard, and when you quest with him, you get an item from your discard, and he has +1 questing for every item you have in play. He's 5 attack, 8 health. He is so good. I love Tamatoa. You lucky dime him, and bam, most of the time it's game. Okay, the 9-drop Maleficent, just like we talked about before, just so good. Quest for 2, 7 attack, 5 health. Oh, just love her. And we got Develop Your Brain. Okay, 2 Develop Your Brain and 2 Nothing to Hide. Okay, I know a lot of people are playing 4 Develop Your Brain, but Nothing to Hide is so good because you're not always going to know what your opponent is playing, and you're especially not always going to know what's in their hand. So being able to see what's in their hand is so good in helping you formulate a game plan especially when you're playing a control deck, when you need to formulate a good game plan. So I just really like splitting them, but if you did 4 Develop Your Brains, that's no big deal. Then we get 2 1-jump aheads, just so good. It can be sang by Gaston, and it just really helps you. You sing 1-jump ahead, play Fishbone Quill, Ink Boom. Oh my God, just the it's so good. I really like 1-jump ahead. And on top of that, if you want to, you can Fishbone Quill your 1-jump ahead. So if you don't want to get rid of the top card of your deck, you can do that. There's just so much like with just a 2 of, it's perfect in the deck. You got your Be Prepared. If you're gonna play red, you gotta play Be Prepared, right? And then we have our Shield of Virtue to help. It's like say you can quest with the character and then sing Be Prepared, or you can attack twice with the character. Shield of Virtue is just very good, and also draw engine power with the Hiram. Popsicle, straight draw, get out of here. Remove a little bit of damage if you want to, but most of the time, 99% of the time, we are trying to draw with Hiram. Okay. Maui's Fishhook, we cover Maui's Fishhook with the red purple, just an all around good card, especially paired with Maui. We got the Fishbone Quill come out for 3, and you can ink another card in your hand. You just put it face down. It can be an uninkable card, it don't matter. You just put it face down. You don't got to show your opponent. It's very good, especially if you're drawing a bunch of uninkables early. And then you got 2 Lucky Dimes to help secure those wins. That's just really what helps you be able to do all this removal, and then just at the very end, just boom, just hit that questing to the max. It was really good. It's like a card that I think a lot of us, when we first read it, we're like, this kind of sucks. But then now, just learning how the meta is coming up and just figuring out everything, that Lucky Dime is such a strong card. And then we have 2 McDuck Manors, okay? It doesn't draw like Queen's Castle, but it does have 9 health and it sticks around. So, it's one of those things where if you know your opponent doesn't have good location removal, you just slap down this McDuck Manor, and sometimes McDuck Manor will win you the game. All right. So, guys, that was the quick deck breakdowns of all 4 decks that I consider to be in the top 4, following my ranking of every color combination in Lorcana. I hope you guys like the video. Is the first time I've done a video this long where it is just me kind of talking without having some sort of gameplay for me to focus on. So it did take me a while to put this together, so I hope you guys appreciate it. And I'll probably do this for every set if you guys like it. And look out for these deep dive deck breakdowns of these top 4 decks coming later in the week and potentially at the beginning of next week. And comment down below if you want to see a specific color combination get like a nice deck breakdown before the Lorcana Inklands Championship start happening in a couple of weeks. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.